All right. It's good to be back. Good to be back. I haven't done one of these videos in a few weeks now, actually. I think it's been about 2 weeks. So, trying to get this going again. Trying to get, because for me, I don't know about you, sometimes when we push something off long enough, or, we don't show up to something that we wanted to work on, it can feel heavier getting back into it. So, that's kind of been this channel for me lately, like doing the videos, but I really want to, continue doing them. So that's why I'm back. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm pushing myself today to make a video. And the past couple of weeks for me have been kind of tough. I'm just working on myself, working on being my own doctor. And sometimes when you do that, there's some learning lessons and some things that, you run into. You run into some hurdles, you run into some barriers, you run into some, maybe some mistakes or things that I felt. One thing that I'll share with you is I'm not very good at the low and slow method. I found that out very many times over my life, and I just continue to struggle with that. I think that when I do something or I get into something, I'm trying stuff that I can just go, full bore, go 100% into it. Oh, I can handle this, I can handle that, and then find out, something kicks your ass or something. So that's kind of what's been going with me. I'm working on two main things I want to talk about that I'm working on that kind of goes along with this channel, and it goes along with the Course of Miracles, and goes along with what I'm all about, which is, and I was actually doing a little bit of, looking around and research and things like that, or just learning, really, before I got on here. And I heard someone else say it, and I totally agree with this. There's a couple things we should be primarily focused on right now, in my humble opinion. That's purification and detoxification. So purifying in a way that, like, connecting to God, purifying yourself and connecting more to what is and God. And that's kind of like what I'm about to get into here with the next lesson in the Course of Miracles. And then there's the detoxification part, which is the other part, is why I've been kind of, there's a couple reasons why I haven't showed up as often on this channel. In my last video, I think I talked about where, I'm going to be slowing down for other reasons. It's family stuff that I can't devote as much time to this channel as I originally was. And that's totally fine. It is what it is. But I do want to keep it going. So, that's that part. And, the detoxification part, is a whole nother bird. Like, this is a whole nother thing that as I go along and as I try things and experiment with things, I'm going to just continue to share, things that have worked for me. So, that's a short little opening, I guess, of what's been going on with me. I think it's been about 2 weeks since I've done this, I think. And it's been on my mind. It's been on my radar. And I just was not feeling up to, really kind of making a video. But here we go. We're going to jump into the next lesson in the Course of Miracles, which is lesson 134. And, I listened to it this morning. And this is the other thing. I'll share this real quick, actually. When I'm working on this, and I have some stuff going, I've shared many times over the videos on my channel that I have some stuff with my health that I just know isn't right. And I know that that's why I'm kind of continuing to dig and go down this path, because I don't trust the medical system that we have in place right now at all. So I know this is going to be a journey of discovering on my own. Not that there's not people out there that can help, but it's not in the mainstream medical system. So, I've been working on detoxifying, my body, kind of purifying the body. And I guess you could look at it as purification and detoxification. You could look at purification as getting right with God, and detoxing detoxing the body is also a purification process, right? You're ridding it of toxins and parasites and things. And as I'm going through this process, I literally feel, I was telling a friend of mine the same thing. I literally feel like evil's leaving me. Like I literally feel like, I have an evil entity, or like which very well could be parasite type force leaving me. And it wants to just keep hold, and it really drags me down. So like, I'm just continuing to power through this. I'm continuing to do the things, take the things, work on the things that I think will help. So that's, 5 minutes of what's been going on with me. And so we're going to jump into this lesson. Part of why I was saying this, because as I was doing this and I wasn't feeling well, I was feeling very disconnected from myself, my usual routines, my connection to God. It was harder to do. This process was making it harder for me to do those things. I felt like I was being pulled away in an essence from it. And there's no doubt I wasn't doing the things I normally do. So this video here is part of me getting back to this, because I had mentioned I did the meditation this morning on lesson 134. I haven't been doing it every day. I have gotten away from it, and this is part of me getting back to it. I meditated on it this morning. I read the lesson before. I think I meditated on it even before, but it's all been kind of spread out over the last 2 weeks. So, and I don't know if I'm quite, again, with this one, getting everything that's the depth of what this lesson is trying to present. But I'm going to go ahead and dig in because it's kind of a longer one. So I want to get going and get moving on it. So here we go. And I hope the noise outside the road, I have a road right by my house and it kind of gets noisy, but I have the door open because it was, it's kind of like a gloomier day. And I wanted the door open for better light. So anyway, here we go. Lesson 134, Course in Miracles. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Let me perceive, honestly, I never left. It was always on my mind. God's always on my mind. The essence all around us is always on my mind. It's always with me, even when I'm struggling. So, I think there'll be some pretty cool things that come out of this video, because I haven't been myself lately. And there's been a lot of, some extra pain and some extra suffering that needs to come out, some extra tears, some extra emotions that needed to come out in my life. And so lesson 134, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Paragraph 1, let us review the meaning of forgive, for it is apt to be distorted and to be perceived as something that entails an unfair sacrifice of righteous wrath, a gift unjustified and undeserved, and a complete denial of the truth. In such a view, forgiveness must be seen as mere eccentric folly, and this course appear to wrest salvation on a whim. Paragraph 2. This twisted view of what forgiveness means is easily corrected when you can accept the fact that pardon is not asked for what is true. When you can accept the fact that pardon is not asked for what is true. It must be limited to what is false. It is irrelevant to everything except illusions. Truth is God's creation. So there's some stuff I've highlighted. I'm not understanding everything about this lesson, but I'm going to read through it anyway. You can take from it what you get. If you understand some of it maybe better than I do, I'm just kind of being the medium of sharing this. Because I get held up sometimes. I'm like, well, if I'm not understanding this course, why should I bring it to my channel? But it really doesn't matter, right? You may get more out of some of the reading than I even understand, and that's totally fine. I'm not a master of this course by any means. I'm actually just a novice. So, take what I say. Sorry, one of the kids' tablets is chiming off. Take what I say with a grain of salt. Take it, make it yours. That's what this is all about. That's what living in this life is all about. So it goes on. Truth is God's creation. Love, truth, that's it. That's the only thing that really exists. Truth is God's creation. And to pardon that is meaningless. All truth belongs to him, reflects his law, and radiates his love. So there's truth and love right there in those couple of sentences. Does this need pardon? How can you forgive the sinless and internally benign? Paragraph 3. The major difficulty that you find in genuine forgiveness on your part is that you still believe you must forgive the truth and not illusions. You conceive of pardon as a vain attempt to look past what is there, to overlook the truth in an unfounded effort to deceive yourself by making an illusion true. This twisted viewpoint but reflects the hold that the idea of sin retains as yet upon your mind as you regard yourself. Paragraph 4. Because you think your sins are real, you look on pardon as deception. For it is impossible to think of sin as true and not believe forgiveness is a lie. Thus is forgiveness really but a sin, like all the rest. It says the truth is false, and smiles on the corrupt as if they were as blameless as the grass, as white as snow. I think that was like a cool sentence. I highlighted that one, right? Like, thus is forgiveness really but a sin, like all the rest. It says the truth is false, and smiles on the corrupt as they were as blameless as the grass, as white as snow. I mean, we're seeing this all over the world right now, you know. It is delusional in what it thinks it can accomplish. It would see as right the plainly wrong, the loathsome as the good. The loathsome as the good. Paragraph 5. Pardon is no escape in such a view. It merely is a further sign that sin is unforgivable. At best to be concealed, denied, or called another name, for pardon is a treachery to the truth. Guilt cannot be forgiven. If you sin, your guilt is everlasting. Those who are forgiven from the view their sins are real those who are forgiven from the view their sins are real are pitifully mocked and twice condemned, first by themselves for what they think and they did, and once again by those who pardon them. So that one kind of hit me because I was like having a hard time understanding all of this, and it finally gets down to this sentence at the bottom of paragraph 5. And it kind of says this, those who are forgiven from the view their sins are really forgiven from the view their sins are real are pitifully mocked and twice condemned, first by themselves for what they think they did, and once again by those who pardon them. So it's talking about forgiveness, and the whole lesson about it is to perceive forgiveness as it is. So, it's saying, basically sins aren't real, and then you're feeling guilty about something that you shouldn't be like none of this stuff really exists. It's all kind of created. We create this in our minds and we create this in our actions. But if we're playing into what we truly are, which is God and whatever is all this kind of this universal essence or force that's around us all the time. If we played that all the time, this stuff doesn't really exist. It doesn't exist in that world. It only exists in this kind of, and I heard somebody use this and this kind of Satan's playground, this world of kind of evil that's been evolved here and we've played into up to this point. But man, do we got a new world coming. So it's basically saying, this is going to happen twice. So you're, being pitifully mocked and twice condemned, right? Because you're forgiving something that doesn't even exist in the first place, right? Like, that's what I took from it, so that's my 2 cents. So paragraph 6 is, it is sin's unreality that makes forgiveness natural and wholly sane. Right there, does it? So, again, I kind of did this meditation this morning. I'm reading this for the first time since. So there it is. I kind of just was saying that, and then paragraph 6 starts off and says, it is sin's unreality that makes forgiveness natural and wholly sane, a deep relief to those who offer it, a quiet blessing where it is received. So, and it goes on to say, it does not countenance illusions, but collects them lightly with a little laugh and gently lays them at the feet of truth. And there they disappear entirely. So, it collects them lightly with a little laugh and gently lays them at the feet of truth. Meaning they're not real. It's not true. Like these sins it's not the God essence in us. It's not the higher version of ourselves that's doing these things. And if we chose that, we wouldn't, there is no sin, right? Sins don't exist. And then there's no guilt. Then there's no judgment. And then the forgiveness that you're given towards those things doesn't exist either. So that's kind of what it was saying back there at the bottom of paragraph 5. So I'm just doing my best here to kind of on the fly as I go here, this one didn't come that easy to me. So like, I'm just telling you what I'm reading here. And honestly, I'll tell you another thing. It's funny that I chose to kind of do videos this way because, you know, a friend of mine and I joke around about, like, we don't have the best reading comprehension. You know, like, you read this and it's hard to take what you're reading in and make sense of it all at times. I mean, you're just reading it off. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to this. You're reading it off, but you're not really taking it in. So that can be kind of difficult for people. So, and I'm one of them. So it's kind of funny that I chose to do this course this way and share it this way, but I am, whatever. I mean, I think there's a lot in what's transpiring in my life. These videos are just one piece of how I'm starting to wake up to things and how the universe works and all its laws. And, you know, I'm reading this other book and it's explaining, you got to learn about these universal laws. You got to work with Mother Nature. You have to work with the way, once you start working with it, man, everything will start unfolding and working beautifully in your life. But you can't do that while you're playing this other role. You can't do this while you're, you're in that kind of, you're stuck in that false identity, that false self, or that kind of Satan's playground, or that evil essence that we can really play into and get connected to. Because I know I have. You know, and then I catch myself, I'm like, well, it doesn't really exist. So we really don't. Yeah, well, I was playing it. While I'm playing into that, it does exist. Right? I'm the one giving it energy. You know, where if it's not given energy, if nobody gives it energy, if everybody wakes up to this, it really doesn't exist. And that's what this course really, in a nutshell, is trying to teach. It's teaching you to live a completely different way, to think and believe totally different things, you know. So paragraph 7, forgiveness is the only thing that stands for truth in the illusions of the world. It sees their nothingness and looks straight through the 1,000 forms in which they may appear. It looks on lies, but it is not deceived. It does not heed the self-accusing shrieks of sinners mad with guilt. It looks on them with quiet eyes and merely says to them, my brother, what you think is not the truth. This is good stuff. I'm glad I've gotten back into this. Whether I fully understand it all or not, doesn't matter, because you know what? Something in me does. That's why I'm here. Paragraph 8, the strength of pardon is its honesty, which is so uncorrupted that it sees illusions as illusions, not as truth. It is because of this that it becomes an undeceiver in the face of lies, the great restorer of the simple truth. By its ability to overlook what is not there, it opens up the way to truth, which has been blocked by dreams of guilt. Now are you free to follow in the way your true forgiveness opens up to you. For if one brother has received this gift of you, the door is open to yourself. So like once we all, I always talk about this, one by one, start to see this, start to wake up to this, start to live this way, right? Live into this connection to this all-encompassing force, power, universal field, essence, all that is around us. Once you start connecting more to that and living into that, that's what the system, the kind of opposite, this kind of evil, the opposite of that is trying to disconnect you from. Paragraph 9, there is a very simple way to find the door to true forgiveness and perceive it open wide and welcome. When you feel that you are tempted to accuse someone of sin in any form, do not allow your mind to dwell on what you think he did, for that is self-deception. Ask instead, would I accuse myself of doing this? Right? Paragraph 10, thus will you see alternatives for choice in terms that render choosing meaningful, and keep your mind as free of guilt and pain as God himself intended to be. Right there, that's a powerful little sentence right there, right? Keep your mind as free of guilt and pain as God himself intended it to be, and as it is in truth. It is but lies that would condemn. In truth is innocence, the only thing there is. Forgiveness stands between illusions and the truth, between the world you see and that which lies beyond, between the hell of guilt and heaven's gate. So there's right there, forgiveness stands between illusions and the truth, between this world you see, the world we're seeing with our eyes, and that which lies beyond that. Between the hell, right there, you could say, basically, the world we see with our eyes is the hell of guilt, and what lies beyond, what they're talking about, lies beyond, is heaven's gate. So if we can, I'll tell you, this is one heck of a ride, being a human being. If you can see past all of this, right, not with your eyes, not with these eyes that see all of this, but if you can just peel back the layers of stuff to get to what is beyond that. Just like it just said, right? Sometimes it's so hard for me to even put words, right? Because beyond that, beyond what lies beyond, and heaven's gate doesn't work on words. That's what I feel and believe and sense intuitively. There's no words there. It doesn't work like this. It doesn't work like this works. Paragraph 11. Across this bridge, whoops, sorry, I almost dropped my book. Across this bridge, as powerful as love, which laid its blessing on it, are all dreams of evil and of hatred and attack brought silently to truth. So this world we see you have to be, I don't know, I see it plain as day anymore. I mean, you're watching it in the world, you're watching all the lies, you're watching all the corruption, you're watching all this stuff, and you're like, what kind of a clown world am I living in? Well, it's exactly what it is. It is clown world. It's upside down. It's inverted. It's all these things. It's up is down and left is right and 2 + 2 is 5. And I have no idea. I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be a huge shift coming in the world, and the veil is being lifted. I mean, that's what's happening in the world, man. That's the only thing I can come up with. So, and then there's a lot of people out there that are deeper into this than me, but I just wanted to be a part of bringing something to the table that was going to help humanity. Through this course, it was already laid out. I didn't do this course. I didn't create this thing. Somebody, some other, beautiful beings did. So, I started paragraph 11, and I kind of got off track. I'll just start again. I'll repeat it again. Across this bridge, as powerful as love, which laid its blessing on it, are all dreams of evil and of hatred and attack brought silently to truth. All the hatred, all the evil, all the attack won't exist. It doesn't really exist. It only exists in, this clown world, this made up world. That's the only place it exists. It doesn't exist in God's world, God's kingdom, heaven on earth, heaven. Whatever is outside this body, I'm hoping to someday experience it here in the body. I've stated that, whatever. I've stated that over and over again on this channel. Whether that'll happen, I don't know. Maybe it's not meant to happen that way. I don't know. They are not kept to swell and bluster and to terrify the foolish dreamer who believes in them. He has been gently awakened from his dream by understanding what he thought he saw was never there. Talking about this. Talking about this world. Talking about what we think we see everywhere and what we're seeing and hearing and, the news and the media. And, there's a whole, that's the thing too. There's a whole nother, what you want to call it, like news or media, that the mainstream would not want you to really have anything to do with it. It's already being done. There's already so many people out there doing these podcasts and doing these shows and creating something new. It's already being done. I say to my friend all the time, the new mainstream is already being created. So, gently awakened from his dream by understanding what he thought he was never there. That might be this life and the whole thing. I don't know. And now he cannot feel. All escape has been denied him. Moving on to paragraph 12. He does not have to fight to save himself. He does not have to kill the dragons which he thought pursued him. Nor need he erect the heavy walls of stone and iron doors he thought would make him safe. He can remove the ponderous and useless armor made to chain his mind to fear and misery. His step is light And as he lifts his foot to stride ahead, a star is left behind to point the way to those who follow him. I can tell you what, I've mentioned this before in videos too. I feel like I'm just standing on shoulders of giants that have walked before me, have been here before me, that are still here. Maybe they're transitioned on, not here anymore. There's so many beautiful, wonderful human beings whose work we can just stand on and create your own at the same time. You know, you can take what you learn there and do your own thing, you know, and that's kind of what I'm working on here, I guess. You know, I stand on the shoulders of giants. You know, I take from books like this and courses like this and people and other human beings what I think is what I resonate, what I find to be true, I'm intuitive. I'm a very intuitive person. I feel into things. I'm like, yeah, that feels right. I'm not always right. I make mistakes, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Move on from that. But I don't know, I'm getting off the lesson a little bit here, but I just feel like I wanted to share a little bit of that. So paragraph 13, forgiveness must be practiced, for the world cannot perceive its meaning, nor provide a guide to teach you its benefits. Oh, I don't know if I know how to pronounce that word. Its guide to teach you its beneficence. I don't know. I'm not sure what that. I would imagine that just means benefits. Nor provide a guide to teach you its benefits. We'll go with that. There is no thought in all the world that leads to any understanding of the law it follows. There is no thought in all the world that leads to any understanding of the laws it follows, nor the thought that it reflects. It is an alien to the world, as is your own reality. It is an alien to the world, as is your own reality. And yet it joins your mind with the reality in you. Paragraph 14. Today we practice true forgiveness, that the time of joining be no more delayed. For we would meet with our reality in freedom and in peace. I mean, isn't that what we're truly after? Really? You know, beyond the addictions, beyond the nonsense, beyond the false beliefs, beyond the wrong thinking, beyond, all of that. We're after freedom and peace of mind. Our practicing becomes the footsteps lighting up the way for all our brothers who will follow us to the reality we share with them, right? Like, I just want to do something in my life just like I see other people doing in their life that, you know what, I'll be old and dead and, or old and out of this body, and I want to leave something here that's helpful, that's helps, support, that's like that's service, it's in service to people. And I can't do that without taking action, right? Like, I just heard that too. I was doing something before I got on here, and they talked about faith without action. It's not really gonna, not really gonna do much. It's the faith with the action. So our practicing becomes the footsteps lighting up the way for all our brothers who will follow us to the reality we share with them. That this may be accomplished, let us give a quarter of an hour twice today and spend it with the guide who understands the meaning of forgiveness. The guide, the all that is around you all the time. God, universe, nature, whatever. And was sent to us to teach it. Let us ask him. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Paragraph 15. Then choose one brother as he will direct, and catalog his sins in quotations. Sins is in quotations because they don't really exist. As one by one they cross your mind. Because what comes to me as I say that, as I always think of the person who had something really tragic happen to them, maybe had their child killed or something like that by someone, and you see them up on TV, or you see some art, or you see something, you see them along the way, and they forgive them. They say, I forgive this person for what they did, and what does that create in that person that you're forgiving? It's like, wow, this person, I killed their son or daughter, I did something to them that was horrific, and they found it in our heart to forgive me. Imagine if we had an earth full of that. The horrific stuff would diminish. I'm not saying nothing tragic or nothing bad, quote unquote bad, would happen, but it would be lessened so much. So that just made me think, like, that made me think of that. Then choose one brother as he will direct, and catalog his sins in quotations, as one by one they cross your mind. Be certain not to dwell on any one of them. So basically, it's telling you to choose someone that you have trouble with, I know one person that came straight to my mind, be certain not to dwell on any one of them, but realize that you are using his offenses, but to save the world from all ideas of sin. So as I wake up to forgiving this person or looking at this person and saying, I have no judgments of this. Whatever so-called sins or wrongdoings that I perceive, like I said, I haven't fully wrapped my head around this one yet, because there's one question it keeps asking in here, and I'm going to be open and honest about that here coming up, because I think it asks it again. And I'm going to state it on here. And if there's anybody that, has more experience with this course or watches this video, I mean, this is 30 minutes now, so I have no idea who's even going to watch this and watch this entire video. If you do, and any video of mine, if you're enjoying this, if you like the course, if you just feel that this is genuine, because it is, and loving, and I'm out here and I'm just throwing it out. I don't even understand fully these lessons, but I'm just putting it out there, and I'm just trying to be exactly what I think God is and I am, which is unconditional love, and that's really it, truth, and that's it. I'm just trying to be that on this channel, in my life, everywhere, all the time, because that's all that I am, and that's all that's around us. If anybody understands something and you're like, well, he's hitting on, but he's not quite getting or whatever, comment below, please. Comment below. I'd love to create a community of people that chat about this kind of stuff. It'd be amazing. I know they're out there. I see them. I see people that do, you can get right on the Course in Miracles website and probably find stuff and whatever. And one thing I struggle with is community. I've really struggled to want to show up to, one thing, doing a video like this completely different than actually being, with people. I struggle in that area in my life. I need pushed. I need supported in that area. So anyway, that's off. I'm getting a little bit off track here. And my puppy, he's outside, or she's outside. I need to probably go get her. So let me wrap this up. Don't dwell on any one of them, but realize that you're using his offenses, but to save the world from all ideas of sin. Briefly consider all the evil things you thought of him. And each time ask yourself, would I condemn myself for doing this? And this is where I got hung up a little bit, to be real. And I'm going to be real and honest, and maybe this will chime some things up for people. I don't know. But I would. I don't understand what they're trying to get out of this, because when I think about the person I thought about, and I think about the lying, and I think about the disrespectful things, and when I think about the manipulation, and I think about the things that I think about with this person, and I think about myself, and I say, well, would I condemn myself for doing these things? And I would. So my answer is yes, I would. So I must not be seeing something. I understand where the Course is trying to say these things aren't real. Don't feel guilty. That guilt and all these feelings, they're not really doing anything for you. They're not doing anything for you. This isn't helping the situation. But we've just been brought up in a world full of this. Like, we're taught this, right? You do something wrong, you're shamed, or there's guilt. We're not taught the stuff that's in this Course. We're taught the complete opposite. So would I condemn myself for those things? Yeah, I would. So that's part of me, and throwing it out there and admitting, and God's listening. The essence is all around me. It's always, the universe is always transpiring and working for us. So as I say that on this video, I'm hoping that the answers will then come to me. Whatever I need to download, whatever I need to sense, whatever I need to get, to heal will come now. Because I would, absolutely. I think about this thing. If I would lie and I was manipulating and I was doing these things, I absolutely would condemn I would absolutely feel these feelings, feel these things that aren't super helpful, that hold us back, actually. So paragraph 16, let him be freed from all, maybe there'll be something that kicks in right here or something that it's just a few more paragraphs and then I'll be done. Let him be freed from all the thoughts you had of sin in him. And now you prepared for freedom. So I'm already sensing it, actually. It's kind of funny, right? So if I practice not condemning him or this person that you're thinking about, whoever that is, if you practice not condemning them for it, you won't condemn. You're just casting out what's in you onto someone else, right? And this has been showing up more than ever in my life in certain areas. And I'm like, oh man, I really need to grow in this area. This is really bothering me, right? So it'll bother me and fester me and I'll suffer and there'll be pain. There'll be all these things until I stop doing that, right? Until I live into God, until I live into that essence of love, until I live into that, it won't stop happening, right? I'll continue. I'm judging that person because I judge myself, right? I just answered my own damn question right there. Right? That's how it works. When you do this work, and you go after it and you take action. And I didn't sit back and I didn't say, you know what, I'm not going to make that video today. Because I've done it the last couple of days. I pushed it off. It feels damn good. So I'm glad I'm recording this. And I'm glad that it'll go up on my channel. Whether somebody's going to take the time out to watch 36 minutes of me rambling on about the Course in Miracles or not. I got something out of this for showing up today. Thank you, God. Let him be freed from all the thoughts you had of sin in him, and now you are prepared for freedom. Now I'm prepared for freedom. I am. I got to live this. I got to be this today. This is teaching me so much by doing this. I have opportunities every day to practice this because of this person that's in my life. Bless them. You know, it's all, sorry, my throat's acting up a little bit. Excuse me. Oh, tickle in my throat. And I'm getting a little emotional too at the same time. I have this person in my life that's a gift where I've been looking at it. I haven't been looking at it as a gift. I can tell you that. So if you have been practicing thus far in willingness and honesty, which I have, and if you're coming along with me, you will too. You will begin to sense a lifting up. And this, I felt this when I did the meditation, I really felt this. A lifting up, a lightening of weight across your chest, a deep and certain feeling of relief. The time remaining should be given to experiencing the escape from all the heavy chains you sought to lay upon your brother, but were laid upon yourself. They were laid upon yourself. So as we do this, as I judge, as I cast, as I condemn, as I do these things, I'm doing it to me. This goes back to the other, it's so funny because somebody actually, it's been like 2 weeks. I don't get a lot of activity on my channel. I'm not that active on here, so what would I expect? And somebody made a comment or was like nice and hearted, and thank you, whoever that was. One of the shorts I did. And it was the same thing. It was like, when we forgive we're forgiving ourselves. That person is you. We're all, this thing we're in is unified. Whether we can see it or not, it's unified. We outside the body, we're energy. And this has been touching so many areas of my life, right? Not just here in the Course of Miracles. I'm connected to other things that are interesting to me, and this whole detoxification, all the people that I watch. These people all have common things. They believe in God. They're connected. They're more connected to that than they are the system. And they're into their bodies being healthy while they're here. So anyway, right there, that last sentence. The time remaining should be given to experiencing the escape from all the heavy chains you sought to lay upon your brother, but were really laying upon yourself. Paragraph 17, forgiveness should be practiced through the day, for there will still be many times when you forget its meaning and attack yourself. I do it every day. This scenario, this person that I'm talking about, I do it every day. When this occurs, allow your mind to see through this illusion as you tell yourself, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Would I accuse myself of doing this? I will not lay this chain upon myself. And everything you do, remember this. No one is crucified alone, and yet no one can enter heaven by himself. End of lesson. That was a good one. You know, here I started off like not fully understanding it and being like, I don't know if I get this and all, but I get to the end and look how much I got out of it just from sharing this. So, as always, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't think I've made a 40-minute video yet, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to wrap up. As I always say, I'm coming from a place of all that I am, which is unconditional love. I'm just trying to continue to root out all the other things that don't really exist, but I've created these illusions in my life. So the unconditional love piece that I'm trying to live into all the time, that's all around us. It's all that is. Heaven on earth, seeking to see if we can get there while we're in body. And we are the miracle. We're all unified. We are the miracle. So I'll be back, not quite as often probably on this channel, like doing this, but I'm definitely going to continue to at least show up weekly. It's just a commitment that I made to myself, and you know, I got to keep it. So thanks so much for listening. Anybody hung in this long and listened to the end, thank you so much. Support the channel, comment. If I hear people's comments and I see that people are actually getting something out of it, it helps me. It's not the end all be all, because I have to want to do this anyway. And comment. I'd love to hear from you. Like the channel, subscribe, and I'm out of here. Till next time.